I went and dropped it off. I got it and then
Did you say he's an older guy?
okay,
Hey,
55.
hey, Lou.
What's up, Patsy?
All right, we're having a hard time seeing each other. I cannot see.
I can see you.
I cannot see you at all.
Because my picture looks perfectly clear looking at myself.
Well, I can't see myself either.
Oh, you can't see yourself? Okay. You look fine too from this side.
Let me see what happens if I reload this.
I sent Andy one a birthday.
Wow, I still can't see you. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Some of the one, I don't know.
Huh.
One of the characters from the book.
I can't see you at all. Well, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, I guess.
Is it what?
We'll pretend it's a pod.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you. Because on this end, I can see you, I can see me.
I can't see anybody, but that's okay. I just got like black boxes with your name and my name in them.
Yeah, it was like 40 seconds.
And I am hearing a whole bunch of background noise on your end.
I saw some.
Yeah, my daughter and my wife.
2 minutes. Am I being noisy again?
Yes. She said, am I being noisy? I said, yeah.
Wow, so even whenever I expand it, I'm not seeing anything. Oh well, let me see if I can set up a second monitor.
I saw some that were like 2 minutes.
See what we can do about this, because this is annoying as hell.
I don't know if anybody really got through the whole thing and listened to 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, see, I can see you on another monitor. Well, whatever. I can see you. That's good enough. That's good enough. And there's a whole bunch of delay. So this is going to be fun to do. We'll make it work. What's been happening?
Nothing in the news. Nothing going on.
Nothing at all.
No.
Same old,
Northeast getting flooded out.
same old.
Busload of kids had to be rescued from the floodwaters in Pittsburgh. Biden's in Louisiana right now touring.
That's a disaster.
Did you see that was the first time ever they have ever issued a flash flood warning in the city of New York in history?
Really? I did not know that.
Ever.
Wow. You know, I can remember when Obama was president. I mean, the subways were flooded out. I forgot. Was it Katrina?
No, it was Sandy.
Sandy. It was Sandy. Yeah.
That was from it was flooded because of the storm surge.
Right.
This was flooded because of rain.
Wow. Wow. Dude, you know, they've been warning us for how long? You know?
No, yeah, and you're watching it. You know, I'm thinking about. I lived out here. Okay, it's 38 years now, and I'm just thinking of the change I've seen in 38 years being in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
different, just little things at a time, shifting seasons, it seems like a little bit.
Put it all together.
You know,
Her mother,
take farmers out here. They'll tell you the same thing. They'll keep voting Republican, but they'll tell you the same thing.
Right.
I just thought of that now.
I mean, you ask me, what are you going to do about it? I said, well, what is there to do? Well, you can make the changes and start, getting people in office that are actually going to address this and make your life a little easier for you. No, we're not going to do that. Politics is a funny thing, Lou.
Yeah, look at the Supreme Court on a non-ruling.
What's been going on with the Supreme Court?
A non-ruling against a law that looks like it could open a major can of worms.
Yeah, I didn't get that non-ruling, right? I honestly, I didn't get that. Was there something that the plaintiffs brought up, which is the only thing I can think of, right? Was there something that the plaintiffs brought up, and we really should be talking to Frank about this. He just landed in Pittsburgh, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He's in Pittsburgh State then.
Yeah, like literally, probably would have been a couple hours ago. So I mean, he may be home by now, but he's not going to be getting on today.
It'll take him a week to adjust back to time.
Oh, easy. Yeah, a week easy.
Yeah, I'd like to hear his opinion because I've heard different things today. I've heard different things last night, and I'm sure the forces are grouping. But you know what? You take what they left now as a precedent instead of striking it, saying, nah, hold off on this garbage. Maybe we should get some of these blue states to enact the law exactly like that against guns to see what the hell happens. Or how about against evangelical churches? They offend me.
I think, I really do think that this notion of churches being exempt from taxing and everything else may have been a really great idea a couple hundred years ago. Because at the time, you had, I promise you, Lou, whenever this whole thing was thought up, there wasn't a Catholic in the joint, right? There wasn't, let alone a Jew or a Hindu or a Muslim. I promise you, those guys weren't anywhere in the. We weren't anywhere near the place, none of us. So I can understand why they did it at the time, and from their point of view, it was probably a really good idea. But it was short-sighted, right? It was short-sighted because we have a tendency to put our religion in front of our logic. I can't think of one good reason. I truly cannot think of one good reason why any churches should not be taxed. I can't think of one. Can you?
Well, you know what? If they want to preach politics, they should be taxed. And you know what? If they're given to the poor, if they're giving all their money away as a nonprofit, then Joe Osteen doesn't need to be driving a Lamborghini. Maybe he could drive a Toyota Camry and give the money to the poor. Who's going to begrudge him?
I can't understand why. I mean, they're involved. I mean, you are seeing politicians, predominantly Southern and predominantly Republican politicians, that are using churches and religion as a crutch for their rulings, and for not only for the legislation that they're passing, but their voting. So if that is your criteria, and you are saying that is the most important thing going, everything else is immaterial, then this thing should have to pay its participation fee, just like I do, just like you do, just like Master Grant does, right?
Hey guys,
So,
Hey, Master Grant, what is your opinion about taxing religious entities, churches, for layman's terms?
what do I think of it? Well, to be just hearing it now for the first time, I'm opposed to it. I don't think that churches, real churches, okay, not this fake stuff. But if you're real church, synagogue, mosque, temple, whatever, no, I don't think you should be taxed
Why not?
because they get enough money as already. Is why tax us to frickin' death. Think you can own property? No, you're still paying rent because you're still paying property taxes and school taxes and county taxes and city taxes and local taxes. And should I go on?
And yet they are more than eager, more than willing to participate in the politics of our country. No different than you and I are. We had a bunch of Catholic bishops who decided that President Biden shouldn't be allowed to have communion.
That's great. I am so happy that our Catholic bishops, the American Catholic bishops, made that stance over one issue. They said that. That's really great. That shows. Yeah, I can tell you, if Jesus was here right now, he would stand right behind them. I'm sorry, I'm being cynical. Yeah, I'm in a mood. You guys can comment.
but they had no issue when Barr issued, let's hurry up with more death penalties. Isn't the Catholic Church against the death penalty? Last I heard.
Supposed to be.
So if the church is going to be this involved, why are they not paying their participation fee?
Well, because I think that the good that the churches provide outweighs this nonsense of their.
So then wouldn't it be incumbent upon them, if they're going to act in this way, then they subject themselves to being taxed?
I think that this is, we have to have separation of church and state. Period.
Right, and
I don't like everything becoming politicized. Vaccines, everything. Your stance on abortion. Everything's a political touch point anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I get what you're saying, Master Patsy. I think that's, if they're gonna do this, if they're gonna wield taking communion now as a political weapon, maybe you're right. Maybe they should be taxed. Maybe teach them to stay.
They have crossed the line into politics now.
Yeah, get back into. Why don't you guys focus on, teaching the gospel and cleaning up your mess. I mean, holy crap! As far as I understand, we still have gangs of priests out there doing bad stuff. So how about cleaning up your people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. How about taking that mantra?
Lou, I'm not. It might be a bad analogy, but Amish aren't taxed. You don't see them trying to tell us who to vote for. They're going to start denying Biden whatever. They're going to start playing these games. They just kind of do their thing, and that's it. They don't get involved in this stuff.
Do you know why? Their mantra is, we do not get involved in outside affairs.
Why is
Isn't that the stance churches were supposed to take originally?
Right.
Yeah, originally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they go to church. Well, you know what? They go to church. They go in. They do their worship. You know what? I don't want to walk into church and hear something that I could hear on Fox News.
Right, and that's what it's turning into. That's what it's becoming more and more of. And look, if you're going to have that big an influence, and let's face it, even our local churches, okay, have a far bigger influence over our elected officials than we do. And yet we still sort of censor ourselves, maybe not a whole lot, because we are trying to push an agenda, but we're being very honest about that, right? Where the church is an institution where it's not supposed to be pushing an agenda. It's supposed to be teaching you Christ, and everything that goes along with that. But they're more than willing to do that. It seems to me that there's no balance there, Master Grant. There's no yin and yang. They're playing fast and loose, both sides against the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And there should be some repercussions.
And you realize how many people in this country that are now elected officials believe that church and state should not be separated, including 5 now on the Supreme Court by the looks of it.
Looks that way, doesn't it?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna make any comment. In fact, I'm just gonna kind of just let it happen and not make any comment or statements about it. I'm being that's the Supreme Court with the Texas thing. Nope, not gonna talk about it. Nope, they're just gonna let it go.
Yeah, we need Frank because there's some issues that, geez, if the women are liable, how about every boy that knocks them up? Shouldn't there be a bounty on him too?
Thank you.
Shouldn't there be okay if after 6 weeks, whoever knocked her up is now liable for every doctor visit, prenatal care?
Yeah. Who's going to pay for all that? Who's going to pay for all that?
If they miscarry, shouldn't there be allowed to be life insurance on them already? According to that, let's make it a real liability issue and see how fast the insurance companies step in and knock that down.
Why isn't a 16-year-old girl allowed to adopt a child?
Look,
why isn't a 16-year-old girl permitted to adopt a child?
She's not an adult. Considered now, she's not of legal age, 18.
But we can force her to carry a baby to term.
Even in Texas case, if she's raped. You realize even the Taliban in Afghanistan allow an abortion in those cases? Think about that. Of incest and rape.
Yeah. I mean, look, you don't want abortion should not be used as contraception, right? We all understand that, but you can't make blanket, 100% without. I mean, there's all types of circumstances that are insidious. I mean, rape, incest, like you just said there, sir. And so on. That you make these. Well, then what's a person to? Oh, sorry.
Do you know when the abortion rate declined? During the Obama administration, because they provided birth control and education. These clowns don't even want to provide birth control. They don't want to provide education. Do you know how many idiots are out there that think if a mother's nursing, she can't get pregnant again till she's done nursing? Think about it. That's the truth.
Well, I just love how people don't want to be told to wear a mask, but they're sure as heck going to tell a 16-year-old to carry a baby to term. I love that.
And tell a woman what to do, and they don't see the hypocrisy in that.
Well, no, they don't.
But I could walk into any gun store in Texas and don't even need a background check, put that pistol on my hip and walk out the door and open carry.
You can conceal carry too. You can conceal carry too. You are permitted to own that gun and do with it as you please. Only in Texas. I keep saying, I keep saying, there was this big surge, a year or two back, about they wanted to secede. We should have just said, go ahead.
Just bye.
Go ahead. You want to act like a child, I'll treat you like a child. Go right ahead. But whenever you have to come back, because all of a sudden your electrical infrastructure isn't worth a shit.
Oh, by the way, we're billing you for the military bases that are there for protection.
Right. Because without them, Mexico is going to own you in about 4 days.
And by the way, you used to be Mexico.
Yeah. Guess what? They're taking you back.
I don't know. Mexico made big. Hold on. Now, hold on. We're not so sure about
Mexico would be like, wait, maybe not.
this. Canada. That's what I come in.
Just let them. If they want to go, let them. I mean, I'm sorry, Master Grant. The SEC is probably going to take a hit, but
Yeah, the SEC will take a hit. Like, absolutely.
you know, that just means you're going to have to pull Ohio State and a couple others into it. Change the name.
Well, it is kind of the hypocrisy is just so up in your face, and yet, and guys, I'm sorry because this morning I unfortunately thought I was turning on NPR, and I turned on Fox News. I only listened to it for 5 minutes, and in those 5 minutes, ISIS is growing in the United States. Okay, and there's they're capturing all these ISIS terrorists in the United States. So that's a big scare. Joe Biden's ratings have never been lower. They're plummeting. In fact, he's going to soon be the worst president we've ever had. The Senate Minority Leader is doing rah, great. Forget what, I don't even care. I hate Mitch McConnell. And then finally, the Afghanistan problems are, this current administration is allowing us to become a laughing stock of the world because the Taliban have now defeated us. That's Fox News. That's 5 minutes of headlines.
And you know what? I was listening this morning and they said there was only 27 seconds of coverage about the Texas abortion thing on Fox yesterday.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
The reason being is I think every mainline, middle of the road Republican just shit their pants on that ruling because they figure they just woke up every woman in suburban America.
The same white women who voted Trump and are out there prancing around Trump are now this is what you guys get.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because even though we had an election in between, the elections aren't in sync. Right? These asshats got into power 2 years after Trump was elected. They will stay into power 2 years after he's defeated. That's how it works. That's the brilliance of it. In the meantime, they're going to strip everybody's voting rights. Well, every minority's voting rights. I think the three of us are safe. And to me, it seems like it's a last-ditch effort to keep power. Because if you're looking at the changing demographic of this country, and I got theories as to why that is too, it doesn't look good for the WASPs in the next,
no, it doesn't.
What, 5 to 10 years?
Demographically, we're it's 2 generations from now, the WASPs are going to be basically like Quebec in Canada.
And they're going to be angry, Lou.
They're already angry.
Yep.
This is what you're seeing now. September 18th, there's supposed to be another protest at the Capitol. Did you hear they're talking about putting up fencing back up for that date?
I did not. I wonder who's going to cut the police force this time. Because they knew about it the first time, and some asshole decided that, you know what, we don't need that many. I wonder who's going to do it this time.
What's the significance of September 18th? Anything?
Another date they pulled out of their ass?
It's not like Hitler's birthday or something, is it?
Well, that I don't know.
I know it's not Mussolini's. It's the best I can do. So is this the latest time he's going to be reinstated?
September 18th, 1793, George Washington laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol.
Oh, there we go. Okay, see?
Okay.
Can we
So,
pull something even deeper out of our asses?
so Trump is the cornerstone now. Is that what they're saying? I don't know. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm putting you on the spot, but I mean, come on. I think they should do something more symbolic. You know, they should have done like September 11th, right? And really gone over the top.
I don't think that they're that bold yet.
Well, hell, I don't know what they're waiting for. No one's holding them in check.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just, yeah. So that's just great. We're going to have a bunch of white supremacists, insurrectionists, terrorists in D.C. because they're all white. Nothing's going to really happen to them.
Nope.
They're all going to be open carry, I bet.
Probably.
This could be real trouble.
I
don't think you're allowed to open carry in D.C.
Well, these idiots have anything carry in Texas. They're going to say, "Oh, we can open carry anywhere."
Because I don't even think you're allowed to. Your concealed carry permit's good in D.C.
You're right, but I agree with Master Grant. I don't think they're going to care. I really don't. I don't think they're going to give a shit either way. They're going to sit there and say, it's my God-given right. I love that. My God-given right. I never understood that. I never understood how God gave you a right to carry a gun. But you know what? Whatever. Everything God can give you a right for. I promise you, carrying a gun isn't one of them. Okay? Maybe some food, clothing, something like that. I don't think God really gives a shit about guns. Maybe it's just, I mean, honestly, I don't have any.
No, you're right.
You know, I don't have any. You know, I don't have a direct line or anything, but I would guess that's not in the top 10.
Is that in the book of Republican Jesus?
No, that's in Paul's letter to the Texans. Well, the Apocrypha. Yeah, it's hard to find, but it's there. I'm sorry. I am so.
That must be in the Third Testament, right?
That's in the Third.
Because you'd have the time before Jesus, you'd have Jesus as part, then you'd have the time after Jesus. So,
dear brothers in Texas, last I visited you, you were not able to carry your guns, but you are. That is your God-given right. Don't let it go. As I'm writing here from this Roman cell, I'm telling you, you are allowed to carry your guns, even though they're not going to be invented for
a couple of thousand years.
You're allowed to carry them.
That was the best part of the show.
I know we've got people going, oh, jeez.
You know what? That might have been a letter from Bubba to the Texans.
Yes. So what was the latest with the Supreme Court on this Texas thing? The last I heard, they were just mum. Did something else happen today?
No, I think it's one of those things where doing nothing sometimes is worse than doing something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Now there are a lot. I'm sure. I wish Frank was here. I'm sure that they're hiding behind some legal mumbo jumbo about, oh, this isn't a constitutional issue, blah blah blah. That's why we don't have to roll on it.
Basically, I think they said it was a procedural issue that the defense did not present properly.
Okay, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, here's the only problem I have with that. If that was true, I'm not saying it was. I'm not a lawyer. Like I said, I wish Frank was here. But let's assume that the ruling is or their explanation is correct. You still had a split vote, which I would think, if the procedural wasn't correct, that all of them would have stood there and said, you guys better try again because you can't do it this way.
Oh yeah, you're right. That makes sense. If it was a real procedural thing, they all should have just said, "Hey guys, you guys effed up. You got to redo this." Yeah.
Right. I mean, it would sound like it to me. So if that was the case, if that is what happened, then, boy, I hate to say it, but I kind of agree with the Republicans or the conservatives that it was just not proper. But if it wasn't the case, then I got a real problem with how the conservatives voted or ruled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we knew it was coming. We knew this was coming. The speed, the slamming in of these three, Gorsuch and Cavaliers and whatever their stupid ass name is. They slammed home those three as faster than you could. It was all about anti-abortion, and that's why not a one of them answered the questions that were asked, because they didn't have to. They knew, just like Lindsey Graham said it, guys. Democrats, you guys are going to argue, and they're not going to answer, and we're going to vote them in. He was exactly right. Exactly what happened. Meanwhile, and this is why you got to have term limits. Meanwhile, they sat for an entire year on Obama's pick. Sat on it. Well, can't have a Supreme Court judge in an election year. And it's like, oh yeah, 2 months before Trump's kicked out of office, you slam this one home. And shame on her for accepting it.
Well, it's a lifelong appointment. She never has to work again.
Shame on her.
I'm not so sure if term limits is the answer. How about if I tell you this? How about if we go this way? Since most everything begins in the House and makes it over to the Senate, anything that is on this that is presented to the Senate, regardless of what it is, even if it's a Supreme Court nominee, anything that the Senate has to act on or has the opportunity to act on, they must act on it. Everything must go to the Senate floor. Everything must be voted on. All the procedures must be in place. You cannot sit on anything, and you cannot decide that it's not going to make it to the floor. How's that?
Would make sense.
Doesn't matter who's in power, doesn't matter who's in charge, and everything, literally everything, is a majority vote. No filibuster, no super majority, none of that bullshit. It's because you have 51 with the vice president. So there you go. You still have your shift in power. Everything goes to the Senate floor. Everything gets debated and everything gets voted on. Everything.
Well,
you cannot skip it.
Yes, it makes perfect sense, but it'll never happen because the way the Senate's is just another house. They've made themselves another house, but they have a lot more power, and
Right.
So The only way to get is to actually get rid of the Senate altogether and rebuild it.
Get rid of the Senate is not a bad idea, to be honest. That has some merit.
They're just redundant, is what they are. Redundant of the House. They're supposed to be checking. They're supposed to be like the House of Lords, checking the House, make sure the House doesn't go over the cuckoo's nest. But now they're their own law-making body.
Now you make a good point. Look, what do you think of that?
A good argument would be to take those 100 senators and put them all in the House and redistrict the whole country fairly. So basically, you'd have Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota will have 1, 1, and 1, probably along with Vermont, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island or something. Of course, I think there's a lot more people in Rhode Island than North Dakota.
Well, how about if we did this?
Then you'd get more people put into where the people actually live.
How about if we did this? Your representation, you have a Congress which is made up of one house or one body, okay, instead of two. And representation in that body is based upon population, with the exception of every state must have a minimum of 2 representatives.
I like it.
Okay, both one Democrat, one Republican, a minimum of 2, so you can't have any less than that. But you could have, I don't know, whatever it is, 1 representative for every 1,000 people. I just pulled that out of my ass, but you understand what I'm saying. Where's the harm in that? There's no districting, there's no gerrymandering, there's none of that. If you live in that state, you will be represented by X amount of people in Congress, with a minimum being 2. And everything that makes it through committee gets voted on. Are we being reckless?
Well, it's broken now. I mean, think about it.
I mean, so South Dakota is going to have 2 representatives, and one of them is going to be a Democrat, and one of them is going to be a Republican. But hey, cows don't vote. I'm sorry. But what are you supposed to do? You got to have a reflective representation of your country in your government. And right now you don't. It's not even close. So it's time to change it.
That's the screams you're also hearing of stop the steal and election fraud and everything else, is because they know unless they do something, their minority's gone. And I don't think it's 2 generations. It's about a half.
I agree. Oh, and we have to get rid of the electoral college too, because
that's the first thing that should go.
Yeah. Master Graham, what do you think?
Well, I love it. I think they're great ideas, but I just don't see how feasible. How they ever be implemented?
It's absolutely not feasible. It'll never happen. I'm being idealistic, but
you really need to have a dictatorship, rewrite everything, and then start it all over again.
I just say we go to socialism,
because those guys will never give up. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, all of those career politicians will never give up their power, and they're just going to grab more and more and more.
Well, that's the other thing we have to do is eliminate their career politician.
Again, they hold all the strings. There's no way you can get them out of there.
No. We should get rid of the career politicians, and we should not make the Supreme Court a lifelong appointment. I mean, it's easy to make a lifelong appointment when your average life expectancy was 40 years old, right? It's easy then. But whenever it's in the 80s now, whenever that doubled, not so sure that's a great idea.
Yeah, when they wrote that Constitution, most people were lucky to make it to 45.
Yeah.
Unless you were rich.
Right, that's what I'm
Lucky.
saying. You could have a lifelong appointment then. Whenever, like, your minimum age to be president is 35, you were getting nothing but old people then, at the time, right? Because 35 is old. You're going to live for another 10 years on average. It's 70, 75 now. This has to be rethunk and redone, because the key issues, key portions of it, key mechanics are failing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but not a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people see it that way.
Well, I agree. I wonder how many of these people are the same people that say it's that God gave them the right to carry a gun.
Yeah, so sure, exactly. That's
Right. Look, I'll be the first to say, I live in Western PA, right? I live in Mayberry. I like my guns. I like shooting my guns. I like having them around. I need them. I need to kill something out in the field every so often. Okay, it's a necessity. Somebody living in Brooklyn probably doesn't look at it the same way I do. All right, fair enough. I'm pretty sure between the two of us, we can come to an agreement about what is proper and what is logical and what isn't. And I promise you, God has nothing to do with it. Blue. How many houses do you think between your house and mine have a shotgun?
Oh, probably about 85%, 90.
Yeah. I was going to say damn near all of them, right? Damn near all of them. It would be harder to break into a house that doesn't have one than it would be to break into one that does. Okay? It's no different than a shovel or a rake out here. It's a tool. Okay, whenever you have coyotes running around, getting into things.
And on the same hand, not one of those will ever leave the house either to go to the grocery store.
Nope. And whenever I'm done with it, my son will have it. And then his son will have it. Or, son-in-law or whatever, down the line. Right?
And if you're going to TikTok for a paper, it won't go with you.
Won't go with you. You know exactly where it is. Everybody knows exactly where it is. Everybody in the house has shot it. Everybody in the house has used it. Far different dynamic than what these idiots are doing. I still have no idea why you have to carry a gun into a bar. I would think that just common sense would tell you that's a pretty bad idea. Of course, most of these knuckleheads haven't spent as much time in bars as maybe we have. But good things usually don't happen whenever that's the case.
Here, you want to hear a common sense story?
Sure.
Or lack of. A lot of the hospitals are full.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in a hospital today, I won't name which, checked themselves out of the hospital with COVID. They're sick enough to be in there with COVID.
Checked themselves out.
Checked themselves out because they had to go to the Canfield Fair to show their animals. With their wife that also has COVID.
There you go.
Think about that.
There you go. Our stupidity has no bounds. What have I always said? You ever want to know if there's a God or not? This is all the proof you need. Because if it wasn't for divine intervention, we'd have killed ourselves off a long time ago.
It still might happen.
Yeah, but we had a good run. I mean, we've gone longer than anything else that's self-destructive. Right?
You're starting to fight back.
Well, law of averages is called a law for a reason. But hey, here's something I want to end with. According to NPR today, Lou, you're going to be a little upset about this, but this might be a reason to have you come over to the correct side of the fence here. Driver's licenses will soon be coming to the iPhone and Apple Watch in 8 states. Arizona, Georgia, Connecticut, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Utah. So you will have a digital driver's license. Master Grant, I'm assuming it'll just be in your Apple Wallet, like everything else we can do. I know right now my insurance card is digital. It's on my phone. What do you think? Other than the fact that it's just forcing you to get an Apple or an iPhone now, but eventually you'll make your way over. But good idea, bad idea.
I'm gonna fake my death. I'm gonna get all the cash I can get, go buy an RV, and I'll become a gypsy.
And keep a paper license in the glove compartment.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it's just okay. Look, this convenience stuff. All we're doing is making it easier for people to just absolutely know everything about your identity.
Mm-hmm.
You put your license on your phone, you might as well just Google. You just go create a Wikipedia page, just put it all there for grandmother, driver's license, social security, passport. Just give it all.
So I take it you're not for it.
No, I'm not.
Me either. I have as little information on my phone as possible, and it's still too much. Master Grant and I, even you, are old enough to remember when you could disappear in the 60s and 70s and nobody could find you if you didn't want them to.
Yeah.
Here's the ironic part. I'm kind of all for this. Right? Which really shouldn't surprise either of you. Almost everything, every transaction I make is done electronically. Almost everyone. 99.5% of them. Very rarely do I pay cash with anything. I don't like carrying cash. It's a pain in the ass, especially whenever you have change. And of that 99.5%, probably 70% of that is either done on my iPhone or my Apple Watch. It's just very convenient just to pass my watch over a card reader and that's it. I'm done. I don't have to sit there. I don't have to worry about getting change back. I don't have to worry about punching in my PIN number. I don't have to worry about doing anything. I just go beep, and that's it. It's done. I'm on my way out the door.
I turned off the Samsung Pay on my phone.
Oh, well, there you go. So you turn off the Samsung Pay. What do you use? Do you use cash?
Cash.
You pay almost everything with cash?
No, debit card, credit card. A lot of credit card, then pay one bill.
I mean, like normally, like you're gonna daily. Is it mostly cash?
Depends how large it is. Small, if it's under $10, I will never use a card.
You don't want that fee.
You know what? And I've tried to even go a little higher. I don't even think about it. It's not so much, it's not the fee on me, it's the fee on the merchant. Like especially if it's a large, here's the way I am. If it's Lowe's, I don't care. If it's Palumbo's Meat Market, I'll take a check or cash. Say, if it's an independent, I try and pay cash or check because then they don't have to pay 4% on that transaction or 3.5%, whatever it might be.
That's a good point. You do realize that by paying by check, your bank is just selling that information anyhow.
Well, the check's been there forever and they just run it. It's considered cash when the retailer deposits it.
Yeah. But your bank knows what you spent it on because you.
Well, yeah, I don't care if they know what I spent it on. It's going back to my personal bank, not through Citi, wherever they might be. You know what I mean? It's going directly from, instead of a roundabout Citi, say Citibank, wherever it might be electronically, it's going boom, boom into Huntington to Huntington, say, for a local merchant.
So you don't
It
think
may never leave. It may never leave Huntington.
you don't think Huntington's selling it?
There's not supposed to be, but I don't think they're selling it like Facebook or Citibank or, MasterCard is.
Mr. Grant, your thoughts?
I actually like what Lou said with the fee. That's good. That's yeah. You go to a store and you buy like a $6 something or another. You use a credit card. It's yeah, they get a big hit there.
Store gets a hit. Yep.
Yeah, I always carry cash with me. Well, I don't have a lot. I just kind of use it when it's like when it feels right. When it feels like yeah, I should pay cash for this. Otherwise, I use the card, and I like using credit card because you can, if something bad happens, then if somebody steals your card, you don't have to, you're not liable to pay for it if you argue against it. But with the debit card, somebody gets that information, you're out of luck. They took your money. So that's why you should, debit cards you should never link it to an account that has any real funds in it. You always have like a separate account that you keep $200-300 in for the debit card.
You
That
just
way,
don't. Yeah.
if you get because if you get robbed, then you're going to only suffer that instead of you lose 10. I mean I had I remember this was a while ago, but actually was the clerk in a bank screwed up and withdrew $10,000 out of my checking, and it was about $9,599 more than I had in the bank. And so I started getting all these bounced checks. I'm like, what? And I went to I went to the ATM and I saw negative 12,000. What the heck? And I went in and we started looking at it, and it was one of their clerks screwed up. Instead of 100, put 10,000. They go, it's going to take like 3-4 days to get this. I go, well, who's going to pay for all these late charges? These $35 overdrafts that are ringing up here. Oh, hold on. And I got the manager, and then they pushed some buttons, and they got it cleared. I said, I'm not paying this $35 times 6. I go, because you guys made the error. Okay, we'll take it off. Boy, what a mess. It was like 3 hours that I had to spend in the bank getting that cleared up. But it just goes to show you that, it's easy for bad things to happen.
Mm-hmm. What about at a gas station? How do you guys pay at a gas station?
Card.
You can get some pretty good perks with a credit card at a gas station now.
Yeah, there's a lot of their cards that will kick back on you. See, but they're kicking, like, I think Shell over there in Youngstown has that one. They'll kick back 5 cents a gallon, then you could apply it toward a local merchant, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, there are some pretty cool perks if you're willing to play the game. Right. I usually just use like the store card. Like I use my Sheets card, right? Because you get like 3 cents or what is it? The Giant Eagle card.
Giant Eagle.
Yeah. I'll use those. Well, those are really the only two places I get gas, right? It's either GetGo or Sheets. I don't do that intentionally. It's just my route. That's just how how I get to work or how I get to wherever I'm usually going right past one of those two stores. I guess they're not really even gas stations now; they're stores. Uh, but I'll scan my Sheets card. I'll pay with my watch and go on my way. I probably shouldn't, considering how much I don't like the lack of security or anonymity, but it's just cool. I'm sorry. It's just really cool to just go beep and be done and go and leave, you know? My wife says she married a 12-year-old. She wasn't kidding.
We all left a little too quickly there.
I'm not telling you either of you anything you don't already know. What do you say we wrap this up?
All right.
Master Grant, anything you want to end with?
I'm going to say 5-3.
5-3?
5-3.
What is 5-3?
I know what it is. Good job.
Thank you. Yes, for 53 days.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was going to get it.
It's not a Ronaldo Messi. That's what was going on in your head.
Yeah, you guys know how I think, right? I'm thinking 5-3. Who the hell's number 5?
Mbappe, what was his number?
Who the hell just got their numbers changed? Congratulations, sir. Hey, look, I set the bar about 2 minutes ago, didn't I? So there you go. Lou, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Well, for everybody,
Let's see what next week holds and how much lower the bar can be set by the GOP.
Dude, don't say that too loud. They'll look at it like it's a challenge. Everybody watching, listening, thank you very much. We will be back next Friday. Same bad time, same bad channel. We might actually have Frank with us then. It'll be nice to have 4 of us on this. But until then, goodbye, good luck, and God bless. We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.